Welcome everybody to the VALKAST presented by Acquire. I am your host, aka Matt. Joining me today is the IGL for Valkyrie's very own ESEA main season 35 roster, BlackBlood, the Weasel. I had to get that in there. But BlackBlood, how are we feeling today? How you doing?
Ooh, tired, a long day for me. So just woke up at like 12. We started. I went to bed around 5. So just kind of thinking about the team, talking to X and Silas about it. So yeah, a
Yeah.
bit tired.
Yeah, we got some stuff to talk about. You got some stuff to do, so let's go ahead and get this thing started, sir. So we for the start of the podcast, we want to go ahead and get to know you a little bit, sir. Let's go ahead and start out with your ESEA career so far prior to Valkyrie. So obviously everyone's kind of played CSGO if you have a PC, but when you started ESEA, how did you originally get into it?
Yeah, so I actually came to the US about 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So college degree over in the US, and I've been playing CS:GO back in Singapore
Mm-hmm.
with my friends, with a team, and obviously ESEA is a huge thing in America, so I kind of got into it. The first year I didn't really have a computer, so I was playing on a laptop with I don't know, playing League on a laptop, so I wasn't really the best. I think I was a B plus player, maybe a C
Mm-hmm.
minus, C plus to a B plus player, kind of my first rank. And then once I get my computer, once I move into my own house with a couple of friends, that's when I started like gaming. I bought a desktop, and then that's when I started like kind of exploring teams and um, playing onto like some ESEA teams. So like make my way up from open to IM and now to main. So
So you got
that's
to
been
do that whole entire journey for the ESCA that everybody loves so much. So it's so how many seasons have you been playing now in ESCA?
So I started off season 26.
Mm-hmm.
Season 26, I was on a laptop, so I kind of played 4 games and I kind of quit
Mm-hmm.
because it was a bit cancerous playing on a laptop. You don't really have like a screen. Like your laptop was on the laptop. You don't have a keyboard. Like you have your laptop kind of keyboard, and then
Yeah.
obviously like the mouse and mouse pad. I mean, no difference. But it's just everything was just like on 60 hertz, and it was like almost impossible to play. But then after that season, I moved in with my friends
Mm-hmm.
into a college house, like around our college. So it's like 4 of us, and that's when I got my PC, and then that's when I really started grinding CS. So played open for I think 3 seasons. I am for 4, might be in 3 seasons, and then the rest main. So yeah, here we are. I
Okay.
think I played a total of like 9 seasons. That's like 3 years. 9 seasons, 3 years.
3 years worth, 9 seasons. Okay, so you've been in it for a little bit. Not like
Yeah.
I don't know who it was. Was it Cooper that's been in there for like ever now, or who was that that's been in ESCA like since like season what 9 or 12?
I think it might be an X. X has played longer than me. I think he started at
Okay.
like season 20. I started at season 26.
So I
So
remember somebody
maybe.
saying that someone's been here forever and he's a big supporter of you guys. But
Yeah.
so out of the 9 seasons you've played, 3 or 9 or 6, sorry, I already forgot. Or the 3 years you've been playing,
Yeah.
your best experiences so far personally, like what season do you think that was? Do you remember specifically a moment or anything like that where it's like, holy shit, I'm a god or something like that?
Actually, I think it's one of the earlier seasons that kind
Mhm.
of motivated me to play. So season 29, um, Suda actually picked me up. So at a point of time, Suda wasn't really good.
Mhm.
He was playing on.
I don't
No,
believe
he was.
you. Stop it. Don't put that in my head.
Yeah, I mean, Suda was playing on a laptop, but I think 2 seasons later he quit for a season, and then he
Hmm.
came back after that, and then he bought his own desktop, and that's when he re-picked me up for his IM team again. Because I think I was the star player on season 29 on WeBanging, so it was like it consists of like 5 main caliber players on that team playing in open, so we're technically smurfing.
Hmm.
Um, Suda got dismissed, like he kind of got kicked from the team because of his performance in open, but I think it was a bad choice to kind of kick him. Reason being is we picked up a IGL which didn't really frag too much. So
Hmm.
we're talking about like 20, 30 ADR, and we got 0-1 in playoffs. So that was really bad. But that season I think was my breakaway season. So I
Hmm.
felt like I can play at a high level. So played at IM. I joined Tim's X's team.
Hmm.
After that season playing with Suda, so Sirius, X, Era's on that team, Solandra's
Yeah.
on that team. So
Oh,
I
the
joined that
homies.
team. Yeah. So that team was like, I don't know, it was a half and half. Reason being is like I put in most of my effort. Like I was picked up for an entry role.
Hmm.
Um, but the thing is, they kind of put me as a support role because a couple of players kind of leave, and that was the time where Apex Legend kind of got bigger.
Ah, okay.
So they prioritize Apex over CSGO, and I mean that's where the team went. I left the team after that, and I joined Orion, which they're now in advance. So
Good for them.
that too was my breakaway season. I say like season 31 with Row and Orion, and we banging season 29 in open. That's kind of my breakaway season.
Okay, so that was your best experience. So you did talk about a few players in there, teaming with Suitor in the past, same with X. You also mentioned, I believe, Silas was there as well, and Sirius, I think I heard, and Era,
Cilantro.
Cilantro, yeah. With all of them, like obviously you've played with a lot more players, but out of all of those players that you've mentioned, or even ones you haven't mentioned yet, haven't talked about yet, who would you say is like your, I don't know, like top three, or like even your favorite? Do you think you could pin it down like that?
Favorite teammates I've played with, I
It
think
can be
I,
skill, personality, anything.
I think Suda is up there.
Hmm.
One, I've played 4 seasons with him, 4 or 5 seasons with him. Majority of his league actually he played with me. He picked me up like 3 times. So once being in the open, second time in IM,
Hmm.
and third time in main last season. He re-picked me up after I left the
Okay.
team. So he picked me up 3 times. I think honestly, he has a really good personality. Like the way I've IGL'd him, I IGL for him 3 out of the 4 season.
Fair for.
So he's one of the easiest player to IGL. He kind of listens to me the most, and I mean, you see it from himself from that whole season. Like his skill ceiling is really, really like
No,
improvement,
yeah,
improvement. Really
we've seen him. I mean, we've obviously seen him at his lows, but honestly, he's had too many highs to pay attention to those lows. And I mean, just
yeah,
between you and me, don't tell anybody else. Suda knows this, but he's my favorite player on the team. They don't know about that, but keep that between us. All right.
yeah, yeah.
Ongoing
I know.
joke at the season.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Suda is like one of my favorite to play with. That guy is just insane with his nade usage. I think he was the number one in main
Hmm.
throughout the whole season. So he's
Yeah.
really smart, really smart player, and he's like no ego at all. Like most players,
Hmm.
if you start winning games, like your ego kind of develops, and then you
Yeah.
get more toxic in team environment, and that's one thing I really hate. Like if you have an ego, it's kind of I do not really want to play with you. And Suda doesn't like at his caliber, his
Hmm.
skill and all that. Like he doesn't have an ego at all, so it's really it's enjoyable playing with him. So yeah, Suda is up there. Another player, I think Ro. Um, back in my God Complex kind of days, like
Hmm.
that breakaway season I was talking about. Now they're in
Yeah.
advance. I think he's mechanically skilled and he's just a really smart player, like an overall really good rifler, similar to Suda. And third one is Kojo.
Hmm.
Um, I played with him last season. He actually tried out for my team yesterday as the opping role.
Okay.
So not toxic, really good opper. I think honestly the best opper I've played with so far in my career, and I think he's a really good player overall, like individually, mechanically, and he's a really smart player. So those three are my top three players to play with. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now overall, let's go ahead because we talked about players. What about teams? Can you remember three like notable teams you've been a part of?
Definitely this season. I think from what I accomplished, I think this season has been the best.
Mm.
Reason being is like the five of us. Has been the closest we have been. Main playoffs, like none of us really have played advanced, so this has to be like the best for all five of us.
Hmm.
I think this season we should have made events, obviously, but I mean,
Yeah.
unfortunate events. I think
Stuff happens.
this season overall is just the team all around, no ego, nothing. Skill ceiling's really high, low experience. I mean, you guys can tell from the rounds we lose. but I think this has to be my number one team. I haven't been on too many teams, so I say like Orion, that breakaway season I was talking about. I think
Yeah.
that's my second best season. Playing with Ro, Thor, Juicy, and
Juicy.
Qualls. So yeah, he was my ex teammate.
So
Yeah, so that
your pool of teams and your pool of teams is small, but the players that you've played against, your pool for that seems decently large. So when we're going about that, you were talking about egos, toxicity, everything like that. So is there like a few or even like one distinct player that you remember is like, God, I hate this guy. He's so annoying. He's toxic. He's not even that good or whatever. And you can name drop. It's fine.
I think Orion. Okay, so in our main season, Orion. I think Spicy was meant to have a spot on that team, but I came back to the team. So back bit of history behind it. I left to Singapore for my Christmas break, so Spicy had to fill in for me. So they replaced me with Spicy on the team. And once I came back to the US, I kind of replaced him back. But at the same time, I think one of my other teammates, Cammy, got replaced too by a guy named Hydrake, which we kind of cut him after 2 games into the season because of his toxicity.
Yeah.
Like he was bickering with our IGL. Well, it wasn't me. I wasn't IGLing for that team, but it
Yeah.
was Quaz. So he got kicked, and I mean that was a hoo-ha on the forums. Like that was a huge drama between that team. Like a lot of people knew about it.
Yeah.
And I guess Hydrake kind of left the team. So yeah, I guess it has to be Hydrake. I mean, he's doing really well. Like he's like a 16-year-old aimer, but his attitude towards the game is just not good for a team environment.
Yeah, I got you. I thought you were getting ready to say Spicy's your least favorite person you ever teamed with, and I was about to laugh so hard because he's always in chat joking with you.
No, Spicy, he's a different guy. Like Spicy's a really
he's a
good player.
different breed.
He's a different breed. Just my little pet, I guess.
What team was he on again? What, like Little Pimp or something like that?
Yeah, Lil Pimp.
Okay, he was on that team.
They did really well, but they choked in playoff. I mean,
who said that?
They finished the regular season above us, so they finished number 5. So they were, I think they were 12-4 or 13-3.
Didn't they lose to UGK in like round 2 of losers?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Yep.
So yeah, they got actually destroyed by UGK, which was I was actually surprised, but I guess UGK is a bit better.
Did we play Spicy at all this regular season? I don't know if I remember. We did.
We played Vertigo. They were called, what's the team name? One Goob.
That was them.
Yeah.
Okay. And that was like a 16-8 win or something like that. Wasn't that the stomping? It was one of the Vertigo is usually the map that we just stomp on. It's usually never close. I think we lost on it against, was it FHC that we lost to on Vertigo?
No, it was Stargate. So we were.
It was Stargate. It was the other one.
Yeah, we were 15-13 up against Stargate.
And
choked.
And they're a good team.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, Stargate. Eddie at least praised you guys during the whatever that, I can't remember the name already. People who we lost to, he said we deserved advance more than they did. So you had Eddie's support, and I assume with Eddie probably some of Stargate as well. So you had that praise from them, and obviously where we were legit, I dare say a few kills away from making advance. I don't think it was even rounds. It was just that close. But honestly, stuff happens, you know. One round, one game, someone's not feeling right, it can cost it. But honestly, you guys, I think you've heard this from me a couple times now. I don't care what you guys think about yourselves. I think you guys played amazing, and especially what you said, like this is one of the best teams you've played with. If you guys were to stick around, I think a first place run and winning ESEA main could be in order. But that's just me.
I'm actually so depending on my situation on my team. So right now, I told my team like, hey, go look for advance offers. I know you guys deserve it. So everyone's exploring options, but I kind of gave them a deadline. I think it's around 7 or 8 of December. So that's when they have to like finalize with me. Like, hey, do I want to stick with this team?
Move on or not? Yeah.
Do I want to move on? Like, I give them like 2 or 3 weeks to kind of like see what options, see what offers they have, and then like I said, we were one of the top team this season, and I'm looking at the team list for next season, like the teams that are moving up from Open, they're moving up from IM, and like moving down from Advanced, and the current main teams, and I think I can build a team. Like other than Villainous, I mean Villainous obviously choked.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna shut
Villainous,
up. I'm not gonna say anything. Keep
yeah,
going. Sorry.
they choked. So other than Villainous, I don't see any competition next season if I can get like the right players on my team, and obviously keeping about like 3 or 4 of them
Hmm.
for next season, and then picking up one nutty player would be like
Yeah.
that winning roster for next season for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say I want to see a first place run next season. But hopefully, I mean, obviously, if we play like we did this season at the beginning, we won't be given an easy roster and somehow a higher seed, and you know you get fucked by or you lose to a decent team in round 3 or 4 playoffs. But hopefully that won't be us. If you don't know who I'm adding, I think you might be able to put 2 and 2 after the fact. But it's
Yeah.
but so for because I want to go touch back base with your. What is like the worst team you played on? Like where just nothing worked. I mean, obviously some people have never played. You've been playing for 9 seasons, you said, so it's very possible that you've played on all decent teams. You know, you're like the. I mean, well, maybe not. I don't know. But what is like your least favorite? It doesn't even have to be like your worst, but like your least favorite team you've teamed with so far.
Uh, honestly, I think all the roster that I played on is really stable. So
Hmm.
there are teams that kind of moved in, shuffle players off,
Yeah.
like maybe 20 players playing in the same season for that same exact team. Whereas for me, like I always had, I'm not a fan of like switching my players mid-season.
Hmm.
So every team I basically played on had the stable 5 or maybe like 6 or 7 players
Yeah.
that's in and out. And I mean, I stick with like this current roster for 3 seasons now, and my previous roster that made like events for like 2 or 3 seasons. And
Hmm.
no, I mean, I've never like, unfortunately, I have never encountered this kind of experience like
Yeah,
playing.
that's good then. That's good. That's what you
Yeah,
want as a just as a player. 9 seasons. Like I said, it's a chunk of time. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like I've been playing CS for 10 years and this is my least favorite or the team. Like you know, I mean, obviously you could pinpoint a player, but honestly, you don't like I said, it's not a lot of time to develop. Not develop. I was gonna say develop a hate, but you know what I mean.
yeah, yeah.
So let's go ahead. We'll touch base about season 35 a little bit in this entirety of the season. So going into this season, you said you guys have been teaming for a little while. Past experience with Suitor and XWB, Silas, etc., etc. What were you guys thinking going into this specific season this year?
Um, so this roster itself, during the preseason of season 35,
Hmm.
I actually had 3 of my teammates. So it's me, X, and Suda from season 34,
Hmm.
and we actually, I knew I wanted to pick up K1. So K1 and Silas were new to the roster.
Hmm.
We haven't really played with them, and we tried them out. I knew K1 was a really hard, like a hard entry. I mean, his stats doesn't show, but he really opens up the map and let like Suda and Silas shine.
Yeah.
And then Silas, obviously, you've seen his aim, you've seen his clutch.
Yeah.
This guy has the best raw aim on the team, and I decided to complete the roster with those two. Um, in terms of like aim and like goals at the start of the season, because last season we had an underwhelming record of 8-8, so we
Yeah.
didn't make playoff at all. I wasn't IGLing, so I was actually a support rifler with X being like a support AWPer, and he
Hmm.
was playing all the really bad spots that AWPer doesn't really play. And then Suda, obviously the star player role. We had Spicy on that team last season, and then we had a guy called Quaz. So this season they wanted me IGL, so I became like the hard IGL for this team. And pretty much my goal at the start was just to make playoff. And like when we got picked up by Valkyrie, we went on this like 7-0 run. I think we lost 2 games after that, and then we kind of
We were seven. I think we
restarted.
were 7-2 at one point in the season,
Yeah,
if
we
I
were seven
recall.
at 7-2, 8, 9, 10, 10-2. We were 10-2 at one point, and I
Okay.
knew for a fact like we were the top teams like in main. Like
Hmm.
I mean, you can say like FHG is a bit better than us, Cohesion, Stargate, but I think like I still think we're a top 4 team. Like regardless if we made playoff or not, I think we're better than a couple of those teams out there that made advance. And
Yeah.
I still think we're a top 4 team. So our goals kind of change mid-season. Obviously, uh, like the caliber of this team, I felt like we can definitely make advance, and
Hmm.
we should have made advance, but I mean, unfortunate events.
It happens.
Yeah.
It's little mistakes that, like I said, if you guys were to stick together, at least a core 3 or 4 of you guys, like that, those mistakes won't happen next season. If they do happen, they're going to happen every one-off, you know? It won't be consistent. But I'm hoping for next season, where you guys go, hopefully you guys are all on good teams, if you guys decide to stay or go or whatever, that you guys don't start out with a really, like a really mediocre schedule, lose a few games, and then somehow make playoffs in the 3rd seed somehow. I'm not too sure how that worked out. But I mean, we had a decently tough schedule from the start. I mean, we had a few like free wins per se, but then we got into like a close game against UGK, the STFU game that went to triple or double OT on Inferno, which was my least favorite game of the season.
That was STFU.
STFU, yep. And then obviously Stargate was close, FHC was close, and Cohesion being the biggest loss, 16-10. That was the biggest margin loss we've had. And even yet, if you go back and look at the stats, we were only losing rounds by like a few ticks of damage, a few, or there's a kill or two, or like we didn't get to the bomb fast enough. It's just little stuff, you know. And so with this entirety of the season, it's like we've had the ups, we've had the downs, we have the positives, negatives, whatever you want to say. So the experience for this season, if you had to say, what are your favorite games you played?
Oh, favorite game has to be that GS game, the one where I dropped like I think 130 ADR.
Dude, you play. All right, I want to say this now. Playoff BlackBlood is so much better than regular season BlackBlood. Dude, you popped off too. The GS that was a playoff, right? If I recall.
Yep, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Because between you, there was actually a few games of you where a few maps where you completely popped off both maps or 2 out of the 3 maps or whatever. And then I want to go to the Mirage thing. That Mirage stomp, I believe that was on Asaki or whatever the heck their name was.
Yeah, Asaki.
That was probably my favorite moment of the entire season. Just K1 blowing up, and then XWB just completely just throwing away my ace. That went Australian there for a sec. The ace that he still owes me, and that I don't think I'm ever going to see. He's going to have to, like, if he decides to part ways with us, he's going to have to send me a clip of him, look, I did it for you, or some shit like that. But
X will actually stay next season.
In case something happens, you know.
Okay, yeah.
But like I said, that was my favorite game. I hate how it is, but that Asaki match. But you were saying the GS game where you popped off.
I think it was the Dust 2 that I popped off. I mean, that was my ideal role on the team. So how I like to set my team up, a bit different from different IGLs, is I like to put like my 3 riflers going in for picks. And then obviously my ARPA, I don't really tell X what to do throughout the season. So other than like positioning him to like certain spots, like he'll just do his own stuff. And then I'll position my 3 riflers, and then I'll be like the hard support for them. So that's how I like to position my team. And I don't know, like for that Dust 2 game, they were just getting me so much freedom. Like I get to like basically weasel my way through middle, flank them. They got me long A on Dust 2. Like I was just holding their flank while they just like kind of focus on CT. Like I had so much freedom to work with, and like I mean they, even though like their stats might be low, I felt like they were the one that was the reason why I was fragging. So they kind of make the play and the room for me.
Yeah. So I pulled it up real quick. So it was game 2 against GS. We ended up winning. It's not popping up for me for some reason, but you ended up going 24-14 with 4 assists, 193 KD with 110.88 ADR. That's a solid ass performance, dude. Especially the stereotype for IGLs is that they all suck, but they know the game, you know. And I feel I know I kind of joke about it when I say it, but I actually kind of mean it. Is I do think you are the best IGL in ESEA main season 35
and 36.
We're about to see the return of ESEA main BlackBlood over here. But oh god, you guys went completely off this season, and obviously it wasn't the outcome we wanted, like we've said. But you guys played so well this season. It's insane. You guys had a lot of good moments, and then obviously a few not so great moments. But in your opinion, through all the experiences this season, what is the toughest game we had?
Toughest game we had. In terms of opponent, I think Cohesion. Cohesion is definitely the toughest game. Um, I mean, they're raw individual, like the mechanics they have.
Yeah.
I think they're above our team, but it's just marginal. I don't think my teammate lacks it too much, but it's just they're like the way they play as a team and the individual, like it definitely you can see the difference when we play against Cohesion, like who were the better team. Like I feel like when we lost to a couple of like STFU UGK, I feel it's down to comms, it's down to like teamwork, down to our mistake. But Cohesion, they kind of outplay us. I think our toughest loss this season would be against Worm on that last BO3, the
Yeah.
overpass. The overpass game, I think we lost 16-7. That's our biggest deficit in defeat. And like going into that game, I felt like we were prepared on our overpass. Like I've been like boot camping that map with my team, like making sure like B's on lockdown. But I demo review and made sure like we know exactly what they were doing, but they just kept coming B on me, and it's just comes to a point where it was just a steamroll. Like I told my team like after that game, like you know what, it's 1-1. Let's play our heart out with a better Inferno team. But I mean, we got unlucky. It's like those like eco rounds that we lost on Inferno. It's just heartbreaking.
Just that was our biggest enemy besides besides maybe Train, even though we didn't play it. But honestly, just ecos, anti-ecos, just ecos in general. That's really what freaking killed us this season. And like I said, it cost you like a round or two here and there, but that shit adds up, especially when you're playing 3 maps, you know, in a playoff run. And it's like I don't know. It was, if I recall, for the Cohesion game, we started T side and we only got, I think, 5 rounds.
Yes.
So that's already a pretty rough start right there. And it was 5-10 at half, and then it just went from there.
Yeah.
But that Cohesion was definitely a tough game for us. And I say that besides, I mean, us losing, and we, like I said, we only lost by a few rounds. The last game we played in the season in Cohesion, I definitely agree, are probably our toughest 2 teams, our toughest 2 games that we've played. I want to say I feel like the STFU loss was just a battle of endurance and stamina kind of thing, like who can go on the longest, because, you know, you're playing a lot of extra rounds there. And I mean, even that was only a few kills. That wasn't even like a few, like I think we lost 2 rounds, because, you know, that's what it's got to be. But it was just down to a few kills for that.
It was the same as the Worm game. STFU, I think we won the pistol, and then we lost the consecutive round on that second half, and that kind of really messed us up. Same with like the Stargate game. If you look at the Stargate game, we lost so many 1v1s. Like if you were you were casting that game.
Yeah,
like,
it was.
First half, we were down 8-1. Like the amount of mistakes we made that first half it was a lot. And then, I mean, those are really our biggest, like, those games we kind of threw away. Like Stargate, STFU, and that Worm, that map.
Yeah, the Stargate one, I pulled it up real quick. It's like a 30 bomb from Silas and Suitor. And I mean, like I said, I'm not going to roast your IGL, but 16 kills? No, kidding. Really? No, but like it came down. Let me pull up the rounds real quick. 1v1, 1v. Yeah, there was a lot of 1v1s. There was 4 1v1s this game.
I think it was like the first 10 round. We were down like 9-1 or like 8-1 or something like that, and it was down to so many clutches.
I've got Suitor's pictures different. I'm like, who is this guy? And then Suitor had the 1v4. It says here. I think that was the big moment that we had, and that's one that we've actually we posted quite a few on the Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Is that 1v4 of Suitor? But I mean, like it's I hate it. Little things is why we lost, and oh god, I hate it. I hate thinking about it too. I'm not even a player.
Yeah, it's like our team, like those rounds that there's almost no chance of us winning. Like Silas 1v4s and all that. We win those rounds, like all those gun rounds. But when it comes to those rounds, like if you like look at the start of the round, like oh shit, this team has like all rifles, this team has all pistols. Like we should be winning this round. Those are the rounds that we lose. It's like it's so heartbreaking.
They just triple peek 2 people, grab the 2 AKs, and then it's just all down there from there. That's what the UGK and Flux match, that's what I noticed a lot. They'd 3-stack cat, and then they'd peek mid and kill as many people as they can. And when they did, they'd wait it out and then go grab whatever guns they had. And it's just then obviously you get to give those to the top fraggers, and the game's different. That round is going to be ending differently. But
Exactly.
this is why I'm excited for next season, because my knowledge was like a very like, yeah, I know the map names, you know, and I know some of the guns, to like I actually think I know what I'm kind of talking about right now. So I think at the end of next season, bro, I think that season 37, me casting, oof, it's gonna be good. I'm gonna be happy. It's my first time casting, so
You got on a lot better from I think it was the first match you were doing on Vertigo.
yeah.
No, but you actually got on a lot better. Like,
up against
and all that.
Yeah, up against Gabe's Goons. Yeah, I'll never forget that. I forget what the score was now, but it was Gabe's Goons on Vertigo, and that's why Vertigo is my favorite map, because one, you guys usually like 9 times out of 10 steamroll on it. We've only lost Vertigo I think 3 times this season. I think one was in playoffs.
I don't know. I know we lose against Stargate. That's one.
Maybe that was the only one.
I think one. I know we lost in EGL. We lost the EGL to Team Flux on Vertigo.
Yeah, I think maybe that's the other one I'm thinking that came from.
Yeah. I think we lost 2 Vertigo only. Might be wrong though. 2 Vertigos only.
Yeah, and I don't know why, dude. It's like our Infernos for some reason. They hurt me sometimes. I don't know why. Because we either I like to say that it's Silas and Suitor, the dynamic duo on B, right? And every time I say that, we get steamrolled the next fucking round. They go to B, and I'm like, oh my god, I should just cut my mouth shut. It always it happened during the STFU game. I said it was 4 rounds in a row that they win B, or they went 4 times in the matter of a few rounds. Let me rephrase it. They went B, and I pulled up the mat. I said, "Don't go here." And then the next 2 rounds they go B. They both win it. I'm like, God damn it! And the owner or like one of the coaches are there and like, "Oh, don't go to B." And I'm like, "Shut up!" Mocking me in chat. It's just it's like a curse. It's like the caster's curse. But I don't know. It's there. So we kind of covered it a little bit with like mistakes this season. If you could pinpoint one mistake, let's do one that you think you've made and one that you think as a team you guys made. What is the biggest mistakes you guys have made?
As a team, like we know for a fact, like you know, and like most of our viewers know, it's that second round, that buy round. So grouping up as a team, because we kind of took our second round where teams like to stack things, and yeah, you have the better gun, but if you're fighting against like 3 or 4 players on that same site with a good crossfire, like you're not going to get into that site. So we take those kind of rounds like our gun rounds. So we're always doing, if you see how I play, I always like have them in pairs working stuff together. So I mean, once a pair die, the other 3 is pretty much screwed. I mean, it's very hard to take, like they have 2 guns, they have man advantage, and it's almost impossible to win that round. Like we have to group up as a unit, as a 5, and kind of take sides and clear it out together.
Yeah.
So I think as a team, that was the problem we had, and we didn't really address it. I don't think we have addressed it at all. I mean, that Verm game, we lost like 2 or 3 of them. I mean, it was a back-to-back rounds on Inferno, so we didn't actually address that issue at all, which I thought we did. For me personally, I dropped my sensitivity to 1.6 to about 1.8 to about 1.5, like during the playoff season. So my playoff stats kind of get better. So I'm dropping it slowly a bit more for next season. Hopefully, I can frag out and.
So I can see playoff BlackBlood the entire season, is what you're saying?
Yeah. So
yeah.
I think it was after the TNT game. I decided to drop my sense. Like I like had enough of it, and then. I mean, my teammate always mocked me for my sensitivity too, like
being too high.
Being too high. Because they have very low sensitivity. So I decided to drop it, and then I guess my performance kind of went up a bit. So in this like postseason, I'm trying to drop it 2 more times, and hopefully next season, like I can frag out. Yeah.
Well, that's good to hear. I'm excited to see regular season BlackBlood now, going into season 36 now. Like I said, you absolutely went off this playoff run that we had. I wish we would have seen a little bit more, but Yeah, no, it happens. I'm gonna keep egging you guys about it. I don't know. I try to joke about it, but I know you guys will find it too terribly funny. Laughing. Oh no. But so let's go ahead and let's talk about season. Let's talk about just how you think this season will go ahead and end. We are at the point. I don't have it pulled up because I'm dumb. So we have the top 4 teams left and win, or no, top 2 left. Stargate, Cohesion. Who do you think is going to win that?
Ooh.
I think
In
it's going
terms of
to
like,
OT.
in terms of head to
Okay.
head, Stargate has the better experienced players.
Mhm.
They have beaten Cohesion in the regular season. Um, but I feel like even though like I do want Stargate to win, I think Cohesion is a much like all-round team, much better, and individually, they kind of compensate it through their teamworks. So I
Mhm.
think Cohesion will take it. I think Cohesion will win main this season. Um, but Stargate will definitely give them for a run of their money.
Mhm.
I mean, I wasn't impressed with Stargate's performance. I know they beat FHC and all that, but the games were pretty close. I think it was like 16, like 2 16-14s and 1 16-13,
Yeah.
which I feel like with Stargate's potential, they should be cleaning out those games like a 16-10 or something like that. Because they were up for, like, I'm pretty sure that does too. I kind of tuned into your stream, like they were up like 10-1,
They were. It was. I believe it was 8-1. Yeah. And then
and
it
then
came up, and I think it was 10-3 at one point, and then so forth, so on and so forth.
they came back to like 16, 16, 11, 12. And if you're
Mhm.
gonna play a Dust 2 against Cohesion, where they're just gonna rely on their aim and all that, like they're gonna struggle. Like they're gonna struggle a lot.
Mhm.
Whereas when you talk about like the structure maps, like you're talking about your Nuke, you're talking about your Vertigo, then I think Stargate will take those maps. So it's really like in terms of their matchup, it really depends on what maps, and the
Mhm.
veto will be like um, very important to those maps.
So you're saying if they go to Dust 2, it's going to be a guaranteed win for Cohesion, that map.
I think Cohesion has a higher chance of winning, but I won't say it's
I
a
got you.
guarantee. I
Guaranteed,
mean, like,
yeah.
oh, yeah. I mean, like when you
I.
talk about your Nuke and Vertigo, I think Stargate will take it.
Mhm.
Nuke, Vertigo. I'm not sure about Train. I've never really seen both team play Train. Mirage, I know Cohesion will take it. So
Mhm.
like Overpass, Mirage, um, Dust 2. I think Cohesion have it in the bag. In terms of Nuke, Vertigo, Stargate will have it. Train, I think, is one of the insta ban, and then Inferno is just a 50-50. I can't really decide.
It's
So
always the decider.
yeah.
And
So
that's what I hate about Inferno. That's why whenever we go to third map, I'm like, oh god, it's gonna be Inferno, isn't it? It's like, yep, who would have guessed? And I hate that crap. It's like I've hated casting Inferno ever since that STFU game. And so I'm fine when it's quick, but if we go into OT, I'm like, I want to start banging my head on the freaking desk because it gets bad, dude. I just have
uh,
flashbacks. Like I'm trying to go to bed. I start my job in the morning, just bang, bang, bang. You know, it's. I personally think just kind of I've kept tabs on Stargate the most throughout the season out of like FHC and Cohesion, and I mean Cohesion gave us the run for the money obviously this entire season the most that 16-10 L, but I don't know, I feel like Stargate's gonna win it all. I think it's gonna be Stargate, and I'm hoping UGK. I'm rooting for UGK. I think they'll who are they playing this week? They're playing Rectify, right?
Rectify.
I think they're going to be Rectify, and then after FHC beats Synergy, that's what I'm thinking. I think FHC is going to beat Synergy. I don't
Okay.
know. I want to say FHC is then going to beat UGK, and then we're going to see a Cohesion and Cohesion and FHC semi. But then right there, I don't know. I think that's a toss up between the two,
It's
but
it's yeah. I mean, the thing about FHC is they're really unpredictable. So they're like a pug team. So it can really go well for them, or it
yeah.
can really go bad for them. But it's like I don't know. I want Stargate to win this season, but I can see Cohesion winning it because they haven't dropped a map yet since their star player came back in.
Mhm.
So Cohesion actually lost 2 of the game when they were playing with Scar. So Scar
Yeah.
replaced Cajun, which Cajun was their star player at one point of the at the start of the season. So after the second game, before they played Team Verum, Cohesion played Team Verum. They brought back Cajun to replace Scar again, and they
Mhm.
look really solid. So I think Cohesion will take this main, like season 35 main. Yeah.
Now, what are you thinking about the UGK match against Rectify?
UGK's map pool is really good.
Mhm.
So I think as a team, and I think UGK is a much better. Like even though Rectify came from like the upper brackets and they already like they went 3-0 or something like that. I think UGK
So
is
did
a.
Villainous, but
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and UGK beat Villainous, so
Yeah, so I think UGK will go far. They might pull. I think they're the underdog, and they might pull a couple of upsets. So
that's what I'm hoping
yeah,
for. I'm rooting for
yeah.
UGK and Stargate right now. Those are my two teams. I'm going Stargate. I think is going to win, and UGK I'm rooting because one, the guys are really chill, and then and number two, just because I feel like they're the true underdog because I feel like they're going to beat Synergy, or Synergy's going to lose to FHC, and then they're going to beat I already forget Rectify.
Rectify. Yeah.
So you think FHC is going to beat Synergy? Oh,
In terms of matchup, yes, because I know for a fact Synergy doesn't do well against like these kind of pug teams. They do
mhm.
better against structured teams. So a good lineup, a good like matchup for them would have been Stargate versus Synergy. Then
Mhm.
that could have gone either way. But I think FHC should take that one easily, unless an
Yeah.
upset happens. Yeah,
Which would be if Synergy beats FHC, I'll be very impressed. And
yeah.
then, so if we go to FHC and UGK, you think FHC is gonna win?
FHC UGK. I don't
I
know.
think it'd be close.
I think UGK might go
My
like
upset,
might upset. I think they're the underdogs, like they're the dark horse for this
yeah,
lower bracket run. Yeah,
yeah.
they're a pretty good team.
And then we're going to then Stargate. Out of Stargate and Cohesion, you think that Cohesion will win that? So let's say for you, Stargate and UGK. Let's say UGK beats FHC.
I still think it'll be Stargate. I think
Okay,
Stargate
and
will
then you'll see Stargate and Cohesion in the finals.
finals. That will be a BO5. So I'm not sure if you want to cast that one. That's a 5-map
Oof.
one.
I might need a co-caster.
Yeah.
Let's help me out a little bit.
I
Um,
could.
yeah, who? I didn't invite you. No, I'm kidding. No, we'll see. We'll see about that. Does ESEA they don't stream that on, like their main page or something like that?
No, they don't.
Bro,
I'm
that's
pretty
stupid as
sure
hell.
with that BO5 you'll get over 100 views. Like,
Well, nobody else streams it because everybody and their mother's probably gonna be wanting to.
yeah. Make
I'm
sure you
gonna.
get like that
I gotta hype
link
it up.
on the first one. Like,
Hmm.
get it posted real quick, and then
Yep. I was to say I'm gonna as soon as the matches are over, I'm at all CSGO, and I want you guys. Matt will be casting this match on Big and Tall Matt. I need it there. Because you guys just
yeah,
copy and paste my link, and I'm like, the fuck does that mean to them? No, but they get the picture. I'm just messing with you.
yeah.
But so we'll go ahead and wrap this up real quick with the final question. Your thoughts on going on into next season? Just you, obviously, you think you're gonna frag a bit better, moving down your sensitivity. That's, I mean, honestly, that's as we can tell, regular season to playoff BlackBlood, it's already a big difference. But thoughts about like I don't know, just the way you're going to restructure this team. Let's go ahead and start with that.
Okay, so restructuring this team, ideally I have my 5 back, but I
Mm-hmm.
know for a fact. Well, I told them after the season, after that loss, like, hey, go look for teams. I do
Yeah.
not want to play with you guys next season because I know for a fact like they can be playing advanced. I don't want them turning down advanced offers just to play with
Yeah.
me. So I told all 4 of them like, hey, so all of them have ads up looking for advanced team. But the chances of looking for advanced team, like getting a good advanced team, like I told them personally, like don't pick those advanced team which goes 3-12, 3-13. Like you might as well play another winning main season with me. Like
Yeah.
those ones, don't join. Like if you're talking about like those top mediocre advanced team, go ahead. Like those 8-8 advanced team, like 9-7, just go join it. I think it'll be a good learning for you guys, and you guys will learn a lot, like and develop as a player. So I did tell them that, but I gave them a deadline, like, hey, December 7th,
Mm-hmm.
it's you need to tell me because for me, a lot of main teams are looking for players right now.
Yeah.
And if I start late, I'm just gonna get like the bottom of the barrel main players. Like I'm not gonna get like those top main players. So as of now, I'm actually trying out a lot of players. So I have
Just
like
in case, yeah.
ideal, like I have ideal candidates. Like okay, if K1 leaves, I have this so and so to replace him. If Silas leave or Suda or X leave, I got so and so to replace him. And then I kind of form this team together, and that's where I'm at right now. So I actually tried out the last 2 days, tried out a couple of players, and I mean, I'm getting a good. Like, I'm obviously like a lot of players are messaging me, but I'm filtering them out. Like, I'm not going for another season where I'm picking up inexperienced players and then like molding them to a good standard. Instead,
Yeah.
I'm picking like top main players, couple of top main players, and really like challenging for main. I'm desperate to win for main next season. So
No, I
that's how it
think
is right now.
so. Let's go ahead and say this: the top 8 teams that made advance are out. Everybody
Yes.
else runs it back the exact same teams. You take the, let's say, the top 8 or whatever it is from the IM guys, the intermediates. Do you think you have a great chance, best chance you are going to win ESEA main, all of it?
There's like an open team with a lot of pro. So you talk about your Typhoon, those kind of actual pro players that are just smurfing in open. That's Gorilla Gang. I mean, other than Gorilla Gang, Villainous. I know TNT is disbanding.
Oof.
Yeah, TNT is disbanding. What are the teams that lost?
Like Little Pimp.
Lil Pim is disbanding, so Spicy's actually looking for a team. So he tried out for my team yesterday. Let me check the brackets. Conviction's a good team. Ski Water Gun is a good team. So like maybe 4 or 5, but I know for a fact like I'm better than those teams, and I'm looking to be like the next Cohesion for season 36. So that's my aim.
If you guys run it back at the stack you guys are right now, it's very, very possible that you guys can go ahead and secure. For one, advance, but I dare say even a win. If this BlackBlood sensitivity,
I can't guarantee you that, bro.
No, but I'm excited for the next season, though. But I mean, other than that, that's all I got for you, buddy. Guys, I appreciate everybody for tuning into the VALKAST presented by Acquire, the best match provider in the industry. Thank you to our special guest, Mr. BlackBlood the Weasel, for coming onto the show and chatting with us. Hopefully, he won't fall off of Vertigo anytime soon going into next season. That's all I have for you today. Make sure to tune in next time for insight how the Legion is ran. Check out the description to follow BlackBlood and I on social medias. With that, all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace out.